Hello and welcome to this fourth video in the series introducing Gospel Oak Community Benefit Society as a cooperative, what cooperatives are all about and their place in the wider world in bringing about change and benefit for communities everywhere. This video is something of the odd one out in the series, just to warn you now, in that it's probably only going to be of interest to people who are interested in developing specific skills or getting opportunities to join the board. And that's not going to be something that every member or every person is interested in. So if you're watching this series, then congratulations on kind of making it this far. This video is concerned with helping give a brief introduction to what it means to be a director or part of the board of the Gospel Oak Cooperative. Now, cooperatives, and Gospel Oak in particular, has what's called a two-tier governance structure. That means it has members, all of the people who are signed up to be part of the cooperative, and we talked about that in the previous video. And then above the members, there are a body of people who act as the directors. So two tiers. Tier one, all the members, which is where the ultimate power of the cooperative lies, as we clarified in video 3, and the directors above it, who are responsible, as we'll hear, for leading the cooperative on their behalf. Now, the reason we have this two-tier structure, why can't we just simply say, let's get all the members to organise it together? After all, the cooperative exists in their interest, it's led by their preferences, so why don't the members collectively run it? Well, Gospel Oak as a cooperative will probably come to have quite a lot of members into the future. And trying to self-organize and make decisions collectively between dozens or scores or hundreds of people is really messy and complicated and often means it's very hard to get anything done. So members will delegate some of their responsibilities to a body of people known as the Board of Directors. Now, there's a safeguard in place to make sure that the directors don't get carried away, don't start acting contrary to the interests of the cooperative. Because the directors are elected by the members decide who the board should be. And there are regular intervals throughout the year where those directors come before the members and say, this is how we've acted in your interests, on the interests of the cooperative. And if you're not happy with how we've been acting as directors, when the turn comes for us to be re-elected, you can simply not re-elect us. It's kind of quite a powerful, simple, straightforward mechanism to make sure there can be confidence and trust in who's there leading the cooperative day to day. Now, directors as such take on a legal responsibility. Now, these kind of sound a bit scary, but just to kind of walk you through these, and then on the next slide, give you a bit of reassurance as to the support that's available to you. So directors have this thing called a strategic responsibility. Well, that simply means what things should the cooperative be doing? What services and projects should it be getting involved in? Should it be working in partnership with this body or that body? That's called the strategic stuff. Okay? That's number one. Number two, directors have a legal responsibility to make sure that there are policies in place. Policies are simply a set of guidelines that make sure the cooperative does things properly day to day. What is it doing to make sure that people are safe? What is it doing to make sure that it's treating its suppliers fairly? Those are policies, okay? So pretty straightforward stuff. Directors are also responsible for delegation and line management. So if we employ people, the cooperative employs staff, how does it make sure that they're being properly supported? They're not being exploited and they're actually acting and delivering to the best of their abilities for the cooperative that we're paying them to. And finally, how do we make sure the cooperative's doing what it says on the tin? There's a monitoring role that says, how do we make sure that the cooperative's money is being properly spent? How do we make sure it's delivering on its promises of the things it's aiming to do in the community, whether that be creating jobs, improving the natural environment, creating learning opportunities for people, and so on. So as we go through, these start to sound a bit kind of common sense and straightforward. These are legal responsibilities, but within them, they offer lots of opportunity for individuals to develop new skills and experiences and insights, get influence and progress to to be more of the people that they could be. And a key point about these legal responsibilities that directors have, it's a shared thing. No director would ever be hung out to dry alone. Directors stand together. They achieve these things together. The law views you as a body of people collectively. It's not a case of, oh, Bob did okay and Jill didn't, so we'll slap Bob's wrist but not Jill's. Everyone stands together on this. And as a result, directors support each other in that role. Now, there's a few other kind of technical points we should probably include in this short briefing about what it means to be a director. So we've touched on the kind of the legal responsibility stuff, but the checklist, if you want to make sure you've got it right. So we've got 4 headings. And again, they sound a bit arcane and legalese, but just to break them into plain English for you. There's a statutory responsibility. That simply means, are we following the law of the land? If we're employing people, are we paying the right wages? Are we giving people a holiday? Is it a safe employment? Okay. There are what's called fiduciary legal responsibilities, a bit of a mouthful. That simply relates to saying, how do we make sure that as a board, people trust the cooperative? Because if people don't trust the cooperative, it can't operate. It can't create change. It can't engage people, and it can't benefit the community. Okay. There's a set of legal responsibilities with regards to the cooperative's own rules, its governing document. So if you're becoming a director, you should familiarize yourself with a copy of these. And this sets out what is the cooperative legally allowed to do. And if it's not in the rules, then you shouldn't really be doing it. But it gives you a sense of what's in your scope as a cooperative, as a board, how far you can act. And finally, there are operational responsibilities in a legal sense. Are we sure that things are being done properly? So statutory, fiduciary, the cooperative's own rules, and operational. That's the checklist for saying, as a director, that's what's expected of us. And again, it's as directors, you stand together in terms of supporting each other and making sure these things are done. It's a shared responsibility. But all this can still sound a bit overwhelming. It sounds a bit scary. The good news is, please don't panic. There is lots of support available to you if you are thinking of exploring this role. You can simply ask Gospel Oak Cooperative for some support from itself. It has created a set of induction and training materials for people who are thinking about or just becoming part of its board, one of its directors. There's a lot more material in those to dig into and help you get a bit more comfortable and confident in the role. There are training courses offered all the time from cooperative sector bodies such as Cooperatives UK and the Cooperative College that you can sign up to, some of which are funded, some of which have a small fee. And there's also, going back to that first video in the series where we defined what it is to be a cooperative, that principle 6 factor, cooperatives support each other. Cooperatives always look for ways to build themselves up as a shared collective movement. So why not simply go and ask other people in other cooperatives, if they're on the board, how have you found it? What do you wish you'd known sooner? What can you offer me in terms of support or advice if I'm thinking about it? So as we've touched upon in this short section, being a director can sound a bit legal and heavyweight, but it can also create lots of opportunities for you as an individual to gain new skills and influence and insight and experience. And you don't have to do it all on your own. There's lots of support available from Gospel Oak as a cooperative, from other cooperatives, and from the wider sector. So thanks for listening to this video. The last video coming up in the series is about putting Gospel Oak as a cooperative in the wider global movement. So hopefully we'll see you in there. Bye for now.